Well, looking forward to this weekend and playing at home, albeit at the Denny and not Midco. Yet, we're very excited to be playing at home in town, Sioux Falls, and excited to play a conference opponent, one that we're going to become very familiar with in Minnesota State. It's one of those games it's pretty easy to get up for, and we're talking a lot about energy and communication and making sure that we're ready from the drop of the hat, ready to go in all three facets, all three zones, special teams, and more importantly, playing as a five-man unit together for each other. So that's what we've been talking about this week. We've had a couple good days of practice, albeit a short week, getting back from Notre Dame on Monday. So practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and intention's been good. So we're excited for Friday and Saturday.
Coach, I know you're new here, but what do you know about the rivalry? What have you learned about this rivalry with Minnesota State? Just maybe from other coaches and people you know.
Sure. You feel it. It's a great question. I mean, you can feel it when other coaches walk by you in the hallway, pop by your office. You feel it. You know by the tone that they're talking about that it's real, and it's a real rivalry, and that doesn't change. For us. Playing hockey at the Division I level against Minnesota State. I mean, this is a team that's, at the end of the day, been kind of the cream of the crop in terms of CCHA hockey in the last, I don't know how many years. And I know we can talk about all the changes and yada, 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 so on and so forth, but it's a good team over there. It's a team that plays a hard brand of hockey, a north-south brand of hockey, is going to test you in all three zones, is going to test you at the net fronts. They've got a really good power play. They've got guys scoring at a good clip, and so we've got to be prepared for a lot of different facets of the game, and we're excited for that. But you can feel that from the athletic department and the other coaches, that rivalry, so to speak.
Yeah. Talk to me about the series last weekend, Coach. First game it's 5-1. I don't think it was indicative of kind of how well you guys really did play there. I think second period it really started to kind of get away from you. But it's a really good game up there. Kane Hargraves played great. And then you come out the second game and really force it all the way to the end until a pretty unfortunate penalty kind of closed it out. But just talk to me about the series.
Yeah, sure. So the first game on Saturday there, Caden had kept us in it through a lot of big stops and made his SportsCenter top 10, which was pretty cool to see, and one of the best saves that I've seen. And he battled for us and allowed us to stay in that game for as long as we did. And we lost a few details, especially later in the third, and those ones ended up in the back of our net. So sometimes good goaltending can hide some blemishes early and keep you in games, and that's what goaltending can do for you. And then going into Sunday. We played a far more complete game. Our last 35 minutes being really, really good hockey on our end, and we finally started to shorten the rink over on their side and put them into some longer shifts and start to transition on them as opposed to us having to break out all the time. And so, we started to dictate. We were fully engaged. Our bench energy was excellent. It was positive. It was energetic. It was exciting. I told the guys even today, that energy needs to be contagious throughout this weekend and moving forward, because it ended up being one of the more fun games I've been a part of as a coach. They echoed that statement as players on the bench. And so, penalty happens. By the book, it's the call, and we end up going down 4-on-3. And tough way to lose a game, a good hockey game, but it is what it is. And we needed to dig in, and it found the back of the net, and we lost. But that doesn't take away from how proud I was of the group and our staff was of the group, and so we're taking a lot of positives away from that Sunday game.
One thing I don't think I've ever asked you, and I'm kind of curious, is this your first experience managing a bench? Or?
Yeah.
And so what has this experience sort of been like just for you personally?
Yeah, sure. Nothing's changed in terms of, what we're managing on the bench, what we're managing systematically. We're keeping our same roles and responsibilities that we would have. Like I've said before, I'm just kind of the point person for an official from time to time. So that's really all that's changed, other than, post game and you lay your head on the pillow and you're thinking about a few more different things. But other than that, it's been status quo.
Yeah, talk to me about too, Coach. Just the anticipation ahead of what's going to be happening in 22 days here. This is your final home series. You guys have only done 5 here at the Denny, but just what's the excitement? Just maybe around the administration and kind of what you guys are experiencing in the office. I know the players haven't seen the facility yet. Is that right?
Yeah, they would have saw it in September. Would have been the last time they walked through it. Yeah.
So I mean, what's the excitement sort of like? Just what's coming in a few weeks?
Yeah, and listen, I come on in June, and there's a lot that went into this thing prior to me getting here, and so I had the opportunity to walk through with Josh and Luke yesterday, and I think about them in those moments. I think about Garrett in those moments because you think about all the foresight that happened, not just from our athletic director and all the administration on that side, but President Stephanie and all that went into creating a hockey program here, and the planning and the purpose behind that facility that across the street here. You think about them in those moments. We're finally coming to a head. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of anticipation. We get to reap the rewards as the hockey team that gets to move into that building and play right away. But there's been a lot of people that have put in an awful lot of work over a duration of time that's invested a lot of their energy and effort. And so we think about them in those moments and how fruitful that this is going to be when we get the opportunity to play Fair State there at the end of the month. And so we hope to put our best foot forward in that home opener and that Midco Arena because of all the people that put in the work.
You kind of touched on a little bit earlier the excitement about coming back home and playing here in Sioux Falls, even though it's at the Denny for the first time in a very long time. What is the kind of excitement around the team to be able to sleep in their own beds on game day? You know what?
It's almost become like a road game in a sense that we haven't done it that much. So it is new. And the last time we were here was a Thanksgiving Day game against UNO, but we traveled from UNO that night. So we even traveled on our, the night before our home game. So it's been a long time. It will be a strange feeling. It will be a good feeling. It's an exciting feeling. It's nice. We had the opportunity to practice at the Denny today. You can feel the excitement of the guys being able to play, in that rink. And more importantly, get to play in front of our fans and people that, like I alluded to earlier with Trent, have put so much effort into what's Midco, but our game day operations at the Denny to put on a good show for our fans and our people here in Sioux Falls.
You touched on it a little bit with Notre Dame, how you bounced back, really played well, especially in that second game, and even being down in that second game, bounced back to tie it, to force that overtime. How impressive you've been with the resiliency that you've seen from
It's a great question and a great comment, really, and I've been really impressed with it. Our ability to bounce back from a Friday to a Saturday, our ability to bounce back on that Saturday game after a goal. There was one taken right off the goal line that would have put us up in that game at Notre Dame too, and so we were right there. We were right there, and you wish in those moments that the result changes. For the guys, because you feel for them, you're in that fight with them the whole way, and you wish things would have turned out differently in the result. But if you look through the silver lining of it, there's just so many positives that we can take away from that: the resiliency, the togetherness, the energy that we had all the way through. The fact that sure, it's a tough game on the Saturday. We come back on the Sunday and we dig in with every ounce of energy that we have to be in that hockey game and dictate that hockey game later on in the second and third. And so there's a lot of positives that we can take away from that. And so we've got to bleed that into this weekend. And to answer your question, very proud of the resiliency.